And we are live, everybody. MLB live before lock. We're here. It's Monday, October 14th. We've got game one of Yankees Guardians. We've got game two of Mets and Dodgers. We've got some baseball to talk about this week, folks. We are going to do it today. Should get another show in on Thursday. I believe we'll have two games again on Thursday. We're only going to be doing these for any days that have two games left. So I, Josh Engleman, where you can follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. You want to do that. That's for sure. But yeah, we'll get this one. We'll get Thursday in. That'll probably be the end of our MLB content. And then we'll get into NBA next week. Scott, we will definitely build out a FanDuel lineup or two using the single lineup sim. But we'll definitely hit on that for sure. It's good to see everybody here, though. We got to talk some baseball. We've got Carlos Rodon and Alex Cobb going in the Yankees-Cleveland game. We've got Sean Manaea and Landon Knack, a.k.a. a bullpen game, going for the Dodgers. It's good stuff. Pitching's weird. Pitching's very weird. And I guess we could start there. I've got it pulled up on the screen right now. Top pitchers tool on Stochastic, 67% chance for Carlos Rodon to be a top two pitcher. Sean Manaea coming in at 59%. Then you drop all the way down to 39 for Alex Cobb and allegedly 35 for Landon Knack. A little bit of leverage on Manaea and Cobb, a little bit of negative leverage on Rodon and Knack. Don't think it matters all that much. I think the out props for today are pretty interesting. 15.5 for Sean Manaea. 14.5 juice to the over for Carlos Rodon. 11.5 for Alex Cobb, which I find to be pretty interesting. The dynamic between Manaea and Rodon is a piece that I find interesting. And then, do you even try Landon Knack? Is that even a road that you can go down? Do you roll the dice somewhere else? Because he's more owned than Alex Cobb. But I think we have to assume that Alex Cobb is going to be pitching a few outs more than Landon Knack. I mean, if Cobb has an 11.5 outs prop, I have a hard time thinking Landon Knack's is higher than 7.5, which really complicates matters. Like, we kind of know that Sean Manaea and Carlos Rodon are going to throw a normal starter's output. You know, you're expecting 4 in a good outing. You're hoping for 5. I mean, you're praying for 6, but that's not usually all that likely in the playoffs unless you are extra special dealing. But I think that dynamic between Rodon and Manaea is tricky. Strikeout prop for Manaea is 4.5 juice to the over or 5.5 juice to the under. Seems to be sitting right around 5 strikeouts for Sean Manaea. Whereas Rodon, same story, 5.5 strikeout prop across the board, aggressively juiced to the under. It appears Manaea and Rodon are both sitting in that like 5 strikeout realm. I think Sean Manaea is under-owned for today's slate, more so than even what we're showing. And I think Rodon might be slightly over-owned, or at the very least, it's just that much of Manaea, and I think Landon Knack is getting a bit too much respect here. But I don't think there should be a 20% ownership gap between Sean Manaea and Carlos Rodon. The run total is real. The Mets are anticipated to give up a lot more scoring than Rodon is against Cleveland, which you get. There's a pretty sizable gap between the Guardians offense and the Dodgers offense. But based on that outs prop, based on those strikeout props, I think I feel more confident in going to Manaea if he's going to be 20% less owned than Carlos Rodon. Now, if we look at the top stacks tool, we can kind of get the opposite dynamic here. We've got the Dodgers as the number one stack in top stacks at 29%. The Mets just barely behind them at about 28%. Then you get the Yankees at 24, and then miles away, you get the Guardians at 18%. But even still, 18 is still pretty high. The value component on the Mets is the real big takeaway here. Twice as likely to be the best value in comparison to the Yankees, 14% better than the Dodgers. The Mets appear to be the easiest team to roster from a top stack perspective, which I like, because if I think that the Mets are easy to get to, I think that I'm going to be able to pretty easily bring Sean Manaea along for the ride. And I think that's where we're going to start, because there's only so much we can say about 4 individual teams and 3.5 individual starters. I think we just need to build some lineups, and we have that right here. MLB single lineup simulator. Let's go ahead and check out what we can actually do here. And I'm going to start with Sean Manaea, and then we're going to get what we believe to be the best Met stack that we can, with Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, Mark Vientos, and then for value, Starling Marte, Francisco Alvarez. So we need a second baseman and 2 outfielders, and whatever is going to end up as our final pitcher. Well, we don't have a lot of second base options. If I'm reading this correctly, and I'd like to think that I am, do the Dodgers not have a second baseman? Is that real? Do they not have someone with second base eligibility? That is true. There are only 3, assuming that the Guardians lineup contains Andre Jimenez playing second. There are only 3 second basemen on today's slate: Gleyber Torres, Jose Iglesias, Andre Jimenez. So right away, we don't have a technical second baseman on DraftKings for the Dodgers. Guys, I understand that the Dodgers will be playing somebody at second base. That's not the piece that I don't get here. It's the roster construction piece that matters. I don't think the Dodgers are going to just simply not play a second baseman and play 2 people at short. Kind of makes me feel like we should be taking Iglesias for this stack, but at the same time, going Mets and then taking a different second baseman, I kind of like it. Hit it where they ain't. Exactly, green check mark. All right, let's put in Jimenez. Or who's the best value outfielder, I guess? So we can go Noel, Lane Thomas, Jimenez, and then we can use any pitcher we want. If we're going to go to Manaea, we're not going to go to Rodon. If we're going to go to Cleveland, I guess we're going to go to Alex Cobb. This is going to leave 3,200 on the table. There's no chance. Yeah, -8%. There was no chance this lineup was going to be any good. 79.5 projection, 272 ownership, -7.9 ROI. We know that we can improve this lineup. That's going to happen by taking these Cleveland pieces out for sure. Makes me wonder, can we get Rodon? Can we go full New York stack? I don't think so. It's going to have to include Verdugo. And then we can get Stanton. So that's, I mean, look how different that is just right out of the gate by making that switch from Cleveland to New York. We gained 6.5 fantasy points and 52% of ownership. But this is going to be positive in comparison to that previous lineup. We know now what sort of... Oh, wow, it's worse. Worse. We're learning a lot here about what this slate is going to look like. So we need to shave ownership in a big way. Maybe that's because of the Mets. Stephen Leibowitz hates 2-game slates. So does Josh. Can we not save anything here from this Mets stack? What if I take Alvarez out, replace with Iglesias? Because we have 5 catchers, which is a little bit different. That lets us get off of Alvarez, who doesn't have the best projection. Then maybe we can get Wells. Let's just... If I get Judge... Yeah, that leaves... Judge is impossible. So if I get Stanton, can I one-off one Cleveland bat or one Dodgers bat? I guess technically I could one-off Edman. This is going to be worse too. Envious, you might be right. You might be right. You might be right about the Mets not being the team today. Because that's 3 tries now, and I have not gotten a positive ROI lineup out of the Mets. What if we go David Fry, Jimenez, Cobb, Kwan, Lane Thomas? 81-1 and 283. We're going to be negative again on a 4-4. And we're going to throw the Mets in the... Okay, all right, now we're dancing. Now we're dancing. 81-12, 283-16, and now we're into the 26.5, and we have built a great lineup with the Mets. That's good. I was a little nervous. So let's bury the Mets now and see what we could actually build to find out what is the best lineup we can get to. It has to include Carlos Rodon, and I think it has to include Sean Manaea, which means we're going to be looking for at least 4 Yankees bats. I don't think we can do Judge and Soto. So if we go Chisholm, Judge, Torres, Stanton, and we can make it work with probably whatever we want here. Technically, Wells can fill in. We are in a really weird spot where we would have to, I guess, go back to Francisco Alvarez and Pete Alonso. One off Brian Rocchio and then get Marte. 4-3-1. 86-6 and 310. This will be interesting. 14.5. Fade Yankees, fade Dodgers. Well, you're drawing a line through half of today. I don't like going to Rocchio, but that might really be what has to happen. Because I don't think getting to Lindor is going to be feasible. Like, to go to Alonso there leaves us no outfielder. Oh, boy. I guess we can get Rizzo and go to 5. No, that we lose out on an outfielder there. I think we do need Rizzo as that 5th piece for the Yankees as the value option. But it dies after that. All right, so now we're not stacking as much You got to sprinkle from every team, but we're fading 2 of the teams. Josh Gillum, ladies and gentlemen. Why would I expect anything different? Can I one-off both sides, Dodgers and Cleveland? I guess I can. 86, 6, and 314. We're creeping on it. We're creeping on it here. There's something that unlocks with the Yankees. Honestly, it feels like it's Volpe. If I swap Volpe in, there's just not a better value first. I guess David Fry has to become that one-off, and then one-off outfielder can become Pages, 85, 5, and 313. Nope, that ain't it. All right, who do we want to look at? All right, let's look at Steven Leibowitz's lineup. Who was it that was here earlier that asked? Scott, if you've got a FanDuel lineup you want me to check out in the single lineup sim, send it on my way and I could load it up here. Let's get Rodon and Knack. We'll take Smith, Fry, Torres, Chisholm, Edman, Teoscar, Verdugo, Ohtani. 84.6, 328.8. I think this is just going to be right around that 0 mark again. All right, Scott, you want to do a FanDuel Rodon lineup? We got it. Negative 24. Steven Leibowitz, I can relate to how you feel on that one. All right, let's go to FanDuel. Let's build out a large contest lineup with Carlos Rodon in at pitcher. If we're going to have Rodon in, we kind of just want to go to the Yankees then. So let's look at Austin Wells. Let's get one of the big boppers. Let's get Soto. Let's save some salary and get Verdugo. And then let's see if we can get Jazz Chisholm. Oh, you're giving me the lineup. All right. Let's scrap that. So that's Alvarez. Torres. Chisholm. Lindor. Nimmo. Ohtani. Winker. Rizzo. 103.53 projection, 251.76 ownership. Scott Yamano, let's see how you're doing here. Obi, good to see you. Negative 5.4. So that's 3-man Yankees, 3-man Mets. No, 4-man Mets, 3-man Yankees, 1-off Dodgers. Where could we improve that lineup? Who's the least cost-efficient person here? It's probably Nimmo. Can we turn Nimmo into something more interesting? No. Can we turn... Does Ohtani into Judge make that lineup more interesting from a stack perspective? You can't do that, can you? No. There's got to be a place to upgrade this. Alvarez at catcher? Yes. Alvarez out. Wells in. Increases projection and lowers ownership. So this should be a little bit better than the first run. Yeah, there we go. So right away, Scott, just swapping out Francisco Alvarez for Wells can get us into the positives. And then I wonder if we can make a Met a Dodger. We can turn Winker into Pages, but I don't necessarily think that's going to be it. Can we turn Lindor? We can. So we can turn Lindor into Betts. More ownership, more projection. Could be interesting. Kevin Ekla, I got you. Negative 3.7. Okay, so that is not the path. Does kind of make me wonder if we could turn Dodgers into Mets, though. Can Nimmo become something else? Nimmo would be the best. Can Winker become something else? Winker can be Pages. That gets us 4-3-1 with a 1 off of Nimmo. That gets us to 17. Wait, can Rizzo be something else then? Maybe. If I excise Nimmo to save salary, can I make Rizzo be something better? Nope. Not that one. Can't be Teoscar. So then I need to save salary. Starling Marte works and allows us to turn Rizzo into Tommy Edman. No. Yeah. All right. That's going to be the final try here. We've now turned this into a 4-man Dodgers, 3-man Yankees, 1-off Mets. I think this will be the best of what we've... No, -9. All right, so we got to that like -15 range. Let's hit a couple more of these lineups. Let's go back to the DraftKings side. And guys, hit the like button if you haven't done it yet. I love doing this. It's fun that you guys can give me lineups. So let's check out Landon Knack, Carlos Rodon, Francisco Alvarez, Ohtani, Iglesias, Vientos, Edman, Judge, Marte, and Stanton. 100 on the table, 85 projection, 324 ownership. Kapanekla, let's see how we did. -23.4. We clear it for Obi. Obi gave us Rodon, Manaea, Will Smith, Ohtani, Jimenez, Vientos, uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, Edmund at short. Gotcha, Obi. Gotcha. Welcome to the -20s club. Yeah, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Marte, Winker, Teoscar. 88.1 and 340. The projection looks great. That is the biggest ownership number we've had, though. -24.4. Obi, welcome to the negative land. Jake, let me hit that FanDuel lineup for you quickly. Then I'm going to get back into DraftKings, and then I'm going to build the top lineup. So let's get Rodon in. And then we get Wells in. Chisholm. Edman. Did I lose this one? All right, let me hit the other pieces so I don't get this wrong. Soto, Teoscar, Winker, Rizzo in at utility, third base and short. Why can't I figure this out? So that's Edman in at short. Who the hell do you have in at third, Jake? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we're missing a third baseman. Let's see. That's Yankee, Dodger, Met. Let's just assume that's supposed to be Muncy. Nope. Jazz Chisholm. All right, if Jazz is in at third, who's in at second? I'm guessing it's Mookie Betts. Almost, there's no chance we're going to somebody other than Mookie there. Let's see what you got, Jake. -15, assuming Betts was supposed to be the second baseman. All right, let's do it. This is what I would do on DraftKings if I absolutely had to build out a top lineup. I would start at pitcher. I would see that the two best values and best overall projections are Rodon and Manaea, and that would be the direction that I would be choosing to go. So we're going to be looking at Yankees and Mets bats. Alvarez is the best value, so he's going to go in first. Then we're going to get Rizzo, Torres, Vientos, Lindor, Marte, Taylor, Verdugo. So that's 4,300 left, but we've taken basically the best value plays we could find. So like this is not going to grade out well, I don't think, because of how much money we have left to spend. But this is how you want to start it out, because now we know that we can upgrade in certain places. So instead of Verdugo, we can go back and look at outfielders now. And while Verdugo might be a 1.82 value option, we can get Judge or Soto or Stanton here, or potentially one of the Mets guys, if we think that value could be a little bit more interesting. It probably ends up being one of the big Yankee bats. So let's go to Soto. Lindor doesn't seem like an upgrade. Vientos doesn't seem like an upgrade. But just out of curiosity, at third base, we can go up in projection and down in ownership by going to Jazz Chisholm. So that leaves us 600. Can Alvarez be Wells? No. Can Rizzo be something else? No. Torres could easily be Iglesias. That doesn't solve anything for us. Can Marte or Tyrone Taylor be someone else? Marte can be Nimmo for a slightly increased projection. 87.3 and 322. This is about as good of a value as you can build out of these guys. 17.3. Josh, that might not be the worst idea in the world. If you want to take like Gavin Lux or something like that, somebody that could potentially play, it's probably not the right move. But this is sort of where we're going to be at. I think this like 15 to 25% range is sort of the best you could really hope for today. Just because of the Dodgers and the Mets and the Yankees being so expensive. I don't think I have anything else that we can build here. 8 minutes left to go until lock. And per Steven Leibowitz, there's a $15 relay throw, $1,000 to first. That is only 10% filled on DraftKings right now. If you want to scramble register for a contest like that, it might not be the worst thing in the world to do. I'm looking at it right now just to see how far away it really is. Yeah, there's only 30 people in it right now. It'll fill or come close to it, but Oh, I think we've reached the end of it. So there's only one game tomorrow. There's only one game on Wednesday. There should be 2 games on Thursday, at which point you will get me for the final MLB Live Before Lock of the year. I believe so. But we'll have NBA coming up next week. Guys, thanks for being here. It was fun building out lineups in the single game sim. Can't wait to do this on the NBA side. Good luck to you guys. I'm coming for that money in Monday Night Football Showdown, though. So I'll see you guys in those streets. Talk to you guys later.